Hello, welcome to the new week. I thought we should talk a little bit about our shared purpose here in the copy editing course. Been working on grammar. We're going to continue that this week. The thing about it is, this is not a grammar class. It's not a usage, punctuation, convention class. That's part of what we're going over, common areas of error. But something you kind of have to have an understanding of already to some extent. If you wish to be a copy editor, you can pick up some tricks for spotting a dangling modifier or pronoun antecedent disagreement in your own writing, which is helpful. But if you don't have these skills, you might struggle. Also, it's more than just skill. I think most of us in the class can attest that this is interest, fascination, obsession. We love words, and that's what a copy editor needs to kind of have in them. What do I do as a copy editor? My last project was a contributor's notes for a literary journal. And you know how that's put together. All the writers in the journal have sent a paragraph to the journal to put on an alphabetized page where it's like, Joe Schmo is the author of 16 novels, whatever, right? And it lists all the contributors in alphabetical order. As a copy editor, you can sort of imagine some of the obvious things I have to do. I gotta check to make sure alphabetical order is correct. Also, though, they've said that they're my work has appeared in Prairie Schooner and the Cincinnati Review and this and that, and I have to actually look up all those magazines and make sure, well, is the part of the name, is it capitalized and italicized accordingly, or vice versa, it's not part of the name, it needs to be lowercase and not italicized. Also, these are all different things. Some people will put Mary Smith loves her cat, and in her spare time she knits using dryer lint or something like, you know, silly. It doesn't have anything to do with literature. In a literary journal, that's there are all kinds of literary journals, and some have like a great sense of humor, but this is sort of a stodgy one, and so that doesn't fit. So I kind of have to go through as the copy editor. They just give me the raw materials and tell me, well, they've arrange them on the page, and I have to make them consistent, correct. I have to make sure that, you know, some people put a whole lot and they're no more august a writer than the one who puts very little. So sometimes I'm taking out like details that add length, and I don't know. It's surprising what all a copy editor has to do. And this grammar stuff, it's like the background of the job, right? You gotta know where the comma goes and how to use a comma. But that's not the hard part. That's not the challenge. In that this example of a project, where the comma goes is the least of my worries. So that has to be something that's almost intuitive. We'll teach you, we'll like make sure that you have a better sense leaving than you have coming of some issues related to comma use and where it goes and that kind of thing. But here's a magazine where it has 40 authors. 3 of them gave their web address. What's the journal's policy on the web address? Do they have one? I have to communicate with the editor and find out if they even want that in it. I think there's a case to be made for taking out that stuff. It takes you off the page and into the digital world, and printed page has enough challenges, right? So personal details. What do we put? What don't we put? They don't have any publications. Maybe we put something about their cat, but isn't the cat a little silly compared to some things we could put, like their job or whatever? Because there's a tone that we have to strive for. I feel I'm going on and on, but I'm trying to convey that the job of the copy editor is to ensure style and consistency in addition to correctness of punctuation and things like that. And even correctness, I hope it's starting to come clear that even correctness is shifting sand when you deal with, say, preferred pronouns or whom. Nobody uses whom anymore. It's sort of a weird thing. You know it's right, but do you put it in? Like, those sorts of things. Most publications have a style guide that's their own. So they use a particular style over and over. Most of them have a dictionary of record. So the one I was just editing for used Merriam-Webster specific edition, but I usually use the one online unless it's something I can't find there. So they use the Merriam-Webster, and so the first spelling, what Merriam-Webster says is the preferred spelling. If there are several options, it's the first one. That's how you spell it, right? Gray, G-R-A-Y, is the American spelling. G-R-E-Y is the British spelling. So we defer to the American spelling usually. Some words are hyphenated all the time. Some of them are compounds that are hyphenated depending on how they appear in the sentence. These are the kinds of things you have to look for. And there's really a lot to it. If you look this week, I have some projects coming your way, real world projects that you can contribute to. And when you're done with them, you can put them in a portfolio. If you would ever like to seek work in this way, you could say, well, here's some of what I've done. Where possible, I'll try to get you a credit, an acknowledgments credit if you work on a project, but that's no guarantee. Copy editors don't always get acknowledgments. We work in the background. It's really nice when somebody throws us some credit or a thank you, but don't expect it. That's not really our spotlight so much, even though I think we add a great deal of value. So be looking for those, and when you get it, you'll have the rest of the term to work on it. It's one of your 2 major projects. The other one is to just describe your editorial ethos. We'll be talking about that soon. But you'll have a few weeks to edit about 20 pages. You might have literary work, or you might have dissertation work or something like that. So we'll see what I can come up with for you. And this grammar stuff is going to be really good practice. I hope it's a reminder. I hope we picked up basic grammar by this stage. Although if you are like me, there are rules that don't stick. You always have to check. You will never quite know for sure. You'll never feel perfectly confident about things. I think I mentioned that collective nouns and the verbs they take. Always, I struggle with that. So you don't have to be Noam Chomsky, like you don't have to be a linguist, but you do have to have a sensitivity toward this stuff. So I don't really have much to say. I just wanted to say hello, gear you up for another week, and tell you about the big project that's coming. And that's about it. I'll see you in the usual spot, and I hope you have a very good week. Bye.